Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town Board work session for November 25th, 2025. I know it's not on the agenda, but I don't feel it would be a meeting if we don't all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Captain Foley, could you lead us, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could have a moment of silence as we remember all of our military, our first responders, all those who keep us safe, and a special prayer as we dedicated Route 118 outside in memory of Jake Akara, who lost his life working with our highway department. Just please may God look over them and all of our citizens of Yorktown. Thank you. All right, before I go into the personnel, just a reminder that because of Thanksgiving, your Thursday garbage or recycling is on Wednesday this week. There is no service on Thursday, and yes, that is tomorrow. And Friday will be normal service. All right. I would like to, for personnel, appoint Lieber Cosme Tavares, provisional to the position of Senior Office Assistant in the Comptroller's Office. Is Lieber here today? No. Okay. Can I have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I know this next young lady is here. Judy, can you just approach the podium? And if
You can come on up.
If you want to join her, you can, or if you they want to take pictures.
Abby, you can
Eric,
come up if you want.
you can get up there, Eric.
You can position
Oh,
yourself.
Sarah's going to join you there? Oh, okay. All right. And I've known.
No.
You can get up.
She wants to be there. There.
I've known Judy for a lot of years before I ran for office, even, and we've worked together with youth in the past. And she's a very caring person who really, really has made a difference in her life. Not tries to, but has made a difference. And she's looking to continue making a difference in joining our Community Housing Board. So be it resolved that Judith Ellison is hereby appointed to the Community Housing Board for a 6-year sentence term expiring
Can you tell you that
December
part?
31st, 2031.
Sorry, Judy.
Can I have a motion?
I will definitely make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Judy, anything?
6 years.
6
I know.
years.
Oh,
Sarah never told you that, huh?
wow.
No, we sort of left that one
We
blank.
kept that a
And
secret.
you're not allowed to resign.
So, Judy,
Very lucky
thank
to
you
have
so
you.
much. I don't know, do you want to say anything or?
Just thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
We thank you.
No, we thank you for your desire and your continued service to the town.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judy.
It's greatly appreciated.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
I'm glad you got Abby and Eric here.
6 years.
Yeah.
Again.
Again,
Again.
Yeah.
And
So,
I'll just put in a quick pitch. We do still have 2 openings on the board.
okay.
Sarah, why don't you give us a quick idea of what the Community Housing Board does?
Just 2 or 3 sentences. Community Housing Board is concerned with is an advisory committee to the town board, concerned about all sorts of housing issues. And so anyone who has an interest in housing here in the town, across the spectrum, please come to a meeting. The meetings are open to the public. They're held on the first Wednesday of every month in room 26 at the Albert A. Capolini Community and Cultural Center on the first floor. And ideally, anyone who has any real estate expertise,
I don't know. I might have some time.
would be especially welcome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Nice plug, Sarah.
Thank you.
And Judy, when I go golfing, I will slice one into the woods in honor of Howard.
Amen.
Yes, I golfed with him a few times.
That's it.
Yeah. unfortunately used to golf with Dr. Schimberg, who liked to keep everything on the straight and narrow.
So he made it more fun.
No, he didn't.
No, I meant Howard did.
Oh, Howard did, yes. Next, we'll move to our presentation with Motorola. Chief, do you want to say anything to get us started?
Good evening, everybody.
Chief.
Here. Good evening. Thank you for adding this to the agenda a few days ago. This is an opportunity that we first learned of in about September of this year, where Motorola has a product for our records management system and our CAD, our computer-aided dispatch system. We've had the same system since 2017. It'll be 9 years in March. Usually, the shelf life of these products, I could be wrong, is about 10 years. And then they get a little bit antiquated. I know multiple police departments have moved away from the impact system that we use with Central Square, and they have been migrating towards the Motorola product. So I brought with me tonight Mr. Sam Rabati, who is going to provide you with a brief overview and presentation of the Motorola Flex product, as well as former Yonkers, City of Yonkers Police Commissioner John Muller, who is also with Motorola now. And, it's through speaking with, Sam, who's a former ATF, correct, agent, and John, who have both done the job. They speak our language, and they know my perspective is that, I want my officers as safe as possible. I want them to be able to, continue to service this community as a high level. And it's always our aim and what we've done, since I've been your chief, to, we work hard, but we want to work smarter. So we may have an opportunity to do that. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Rabati.
Thank you, Chief Noble. Appreciate it. Thank you, Board. Appreciate you giving us a few minutes tonight to kind of highlight what we're talking about here with the Motorola system. And thank you to the citizens here of Yorktown. My brother happens to live in the town here.
Oh,
so
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
wonderful.
I find myself up here a lot. So thank you for having me. As Chief mentioned, again, my name is Sam Rabati. I'm a Senior Solutions Specialist with Motorola. Just quick, by way of background, 29 years in law enforcement. Started my career actually in Yonkers as a Yonkers police officer, but most of my career was spent as a federal agent. Was with Secret Service for a few years, as well as ATF. I finished up as the special agent in charge in Philadelphia. I like to mention my background because John and I work together as a team. We're often described as translators, okay? So we work very closely with our product team and our sales team, and we help to kind of break down the information and work closely with the police departments in a consultative manner to explain, hey, this is what the product is, this is how it can enhance and improve workflows and efficiencies. So it's very helpful with our backgrounds because we've been there, we've done the job, and we understand what the needs of the department are. So what I wanted to do tonight, and I have an agenda here set up.
Can I ask you a favor? Can
Sure.
one of you gentlemen shut the light? Because just this forward light so I can see the screen. No, not the back ones. I need the ones back here. Yeah, Lieutenant, thank you.
Okay.
There.
And one more. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so just a couple of
It's really
agenda
dark.
items there, and that'll help me stay on track. So a few different areas I'm going to cover. Just a quick introduction and background on what the Flex Suite is. Secondly, I'll go through why Motorola, why us versus kind of anybody else out there. And I think we have a very strong argument why we should be considered for this project. We'll talk about some of the components that we've discussed with Chief Noble and his team. And then finally, last but not least, and I know of a lot of interest to you, we'll talk about the budgetary quote that we prepared and how we kind of arrived at that.
Okay. And before you get on, there was an announcement I had wanted to make earlier, and I apologize as I sort of turned the page. We had a convene a public hearing today for the solar law. If you look at page 2 of the agenda, that has been postponed. There have been some significant changes suggested to the law that we're looking at, and we will have to renotice it because the changes are that significant. So we are postponing that. We hope to be able to put that law out for referral by the end of December. So, but that will not go on tonight. Sorry about that. Sam.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So what I've done is, and you'll see some of the slides, some of them tend to be a little bit wordy. I promise you I will not be going through every single detail, but I really did that by design because I want to make this available to you at your leisure that you can kind of review and go into a little bit more detail.
Great.
Customer challenges, I'll start out with
God
that.
bless.
So what I find, and I interact a lot with many agencies, not just here in the New York metropolitan area. I've worked throughout the country. I've been with Motorola for several years. And very frequently what I see is the technology has not stayed with the times. And because of the explosion in data collection that many agencies have to use in their everyday workflows, it becomes very, very cumbersome. And when you don't have a system that's completely interconnected, you see up there highlighted siloed systems. I see that everywhere I go with many agencies, including my old 2 agencies in the federal government. We still see that with siloed systems, meaning the systems don't really talk to each other, which makes them very less efficient. Next. Again, by way of background with our company, so the specific division we're going to talk about is the Spillman division, which is part of Motorola. The suite we're talking about is the Flex suite. Spillman Technologies was acquired by Motorola back in 2016. So they've been a part of the Motorola company for close to 9 years now. Very, very important to note, when we talk about acquisitions, as I mentioned to the chief and his team, we're not going to be acquired anytime soon. What we find a lot, especially in this business with records management and CAD, is the smaller companies, they get acquired, and it kind of breaks down their efficiencies. Resources are taken away, unfortunately, to save time and money. With us, if anybody's going to do the inquiring, it's going to be us. So I think it's important to note we have well over 2,000 customers nationwide. Heavy concentration, by the way, here in the New York State area as well as New Jersey. Software. What we're going to focus in specifically is the information coming into the dispatcher or to the desk officer, how that information gets relayed to the responder in the field, the police officer in the field, as well as how the information comes together in the form of a report, what we call our records management system. So
Sam,
let's talk.
one quick question. Like with the amount of data that you're just saying that you have in there, is the version that you guys are proposing, how often does that get updated? Does this have an AI component now? Now that things are going AI, friendly?
Very much so. So within our company, across our entire platform, almost in every product that we have, every solution you have, AI is incorporated or starting to be incorporated in many of our solutions. But we do it very cautiously. Motorola is a very big company. We've been around since 1928. So AI is being used, but in a very systematic, step-by-step process to ensure that we're doing it right. We actually have an AI governance board within Motorola to ensure that we do things the right way.
Good. Okay, thanks.
So one of the important things to note, as I mentioned just a few minutes earlier, we've been around since 1928 as a corporation. We've done a number of acquisitions in the last several years. When I first became a police officer way back when, I knew Motorola as a radio company. We still are a LAN and mobile radio company between the federal government, the military, law enforcement, commercial business. That is really a key part of our business. But technology in the last 10 years has become a big part of our story. In terms of that track record, we have a proven track record. As I mentioned, well over 2,000 agencies nationwide throughout this metropolitan area, Flex, and in particular, by the way, with Westchester County. We've had a number of agencies I'll talk about later who have come on board. We are also working with several agencies right now to come on board. Multi-jurisdictional data sharing, you'll hear about that later. It's going to allow the Yorktown Police Department not only to share information efficiently within the department and be able to access it, but the department will be able to decide who they want to share information with neighboring departments here in Westchester. Maybe it's with the county, and vice versa. because I come from an environment in the federal government, it was always about information sharing. That's what's hurt us in the past, is the lack of the sharing of the information. You can't have it in silos. Law enforcement has to work together to deal with issues out there. Implementation record, again, especially here in Westchester County, we just had 5 implementations of Flex in 24 that went very, very smoothly. We continue to work with those departments. And as I mentioned, we're going to be bringing more on.
Which departments were those?
So it's Bedford PD. Ossining PD is in the process of going live with their system. Carmel PD. Eastchester went live. Larchmont. And we have, previous to that, the city of Yonkers went it with a very large system.
Do you guys migrate the old data?
Yes.
Okay.
There's different versions
Good.
of it,
I
which
gotcha.
which we've talked to the chief about, but yeah, that would be a part of it, bringing in the old data.
Gotcha.
Next. Just a quick illustration, when we talk about other vendors, as you see, kind of going from left to right, if you're kind of tracking, is the information coming in. It comes in by different means, and then it's stored in different areas. You need different logons, different databases, and it results in the information being in all different areas. In terms of what we do, we make a big effort to centralize our entire system. So when the information is coming in, all of our systems, if it's under the Motorola roof, you can consider it integrated, okay? Especially with the Flex Suite. The CAD is fully integrated into the mobile systems that are in the vehicles. That's fully integrated into a handheld mobile device application, which is fully integrated into the record system. So you're not bouncing all over the place. You make one input when a call comes in into the dispatcher, the call taker. It seamlessly flows across the board into each of the systems.
Have you seen like a significant amount of efficiency based on the fact that it is integrated? Like, have people who have transitioned been like, wow, you just cut?
Yeah, absolutely. For
Yeah.
us, that's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
of course.
Is that integration seamless? So I don't have to sit there and keep typing in the same information over and over again.
And also, that's how you make errors too, right? Because you're constantly plugging it in. It goes in, it gets vetted, and then it just stays.
Absolutely, and it's very inefficient. I mean, that was one of my frustrations as a young law enforcement officer is I'd have evidence, I'd have to type it in. Then I go to do a report, and I'd have to do one. And then I do a report for the boss, and I'd have to type the same exact information over and over again.
Well, double entry.
Yep, triple entry sometimes.
Yeah, right. If not more.
The advantages, again, as the slide says, there's more to the story than just product functionality. One of the things that we really take a lot of pride in as a company is that product support and the training and being there when that phone rings, we are available. We have a much larger vested interest in many of the departments that we work with. Again, we're a huge company. Radios, we own the vast majority of the turf in that area. So we have a larger goal of keeping our customers very happy. We're not singularly focused on just CAD or just records. So that's very important to note. Our support system is the same as what we do with our radio system, which we consider the gold standard. Again, it's that partnership. That's one of the key. You have the big wheel there with all the advantages. I wanted to point that out, that we absolutely see it as a partnership. We're not selling this suite, this package, and saying, okay, see you, on to the next customer. We're here for the long haul. In fact, we have a common term we use within our company, that representative, that account executive, we call it the one throat to choke. So when there's an issue with your radios, with your CAD, with your records, that's the person you're going to talk and get immediate action and results.
I'm assuming this is a Windows-based app.
Yes.
I mean, what do we say? Not Windows, cloud-based. Cloud-based.
Well, so in this system, it's going to be on-prem. There's backup mechanisms that can go into the cloud. That's something that we're gonna discuss. But essentially, it's going to be an on-prem system.
Gotcha.
What do you mean by on-prem
Server.
On-premises servers.
servers? Okay.
Local server.
So people can't break into it.
So let's talk about the components. And again, with these slides, there's a lot of information here. I provided them so you can kind of digest at your own time. But FlexCAD, and perhaps for the audience, when we say CAD, that's an acronym for Computer Aided Dispatch. So when a call comes into a call taker, they're taking that call, the information gets inputted into this Flex system, this Computer Aided Dispatch. It cuts down on response time because the information, as the person is typing it in, immediately goes out to the first responders in the patrol vehicles. Also, what we're going to talk about later, right on the phones. So, you know, we look at it as seconds and minutes can potentially mean lives, right? So we cut down on that response
They
time.
record calls that come in? You know, like some of them have like the text message, like, you know, like voice.
They can be
I'm just saying,
recorded. Yeah.
you have to edit them sometimes because they don't come in.
Yeah, I mean, we have a feature on, I wasn't prepared to talk about it tonight, but smart transcription, that
Right.
is something we're bringing into the county. So when the call's coming in real time, it's transcribing the
Yeah.
call and providing a summary. It's going to be critical as you go forward in the future with this platform.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's a Motorola system.
I liked my BlackBerry.
Next.
And my Nextel.
And again, these are just some of the integrations. You know, we hope to be able to sit down with your approval, to sit down with the chief and his team and go through line by line each of the integrations, what they specifically need and what they need to do their jobs perhaps even more efficiently and an easier way.
And as of right now, are we doing it like the dinosaur age?
No, not
Okay.
No.
A little younger than that? So the system will be able to be pulled right into this.
Yeah. I'll speak about Motorola, but I can just tell you my general opinion with some of the technology companies, especially when they get acquired, because the resources are not there like they used to be. There's perhaps maybe a little bit less innovation, maybe on the customer support side,
Yeah.
less effective. And then with Motorola, we are continuously innovating because the company's large enough to be able to invest those resources in our products, right? We want to grow, continue to grow as a company. So we continue to innovate. The features like I just described with smart transcription, that's coming to Westchester. That's going to be a key part of this platform down the line if you choose to adopt it. And again, that's just one of the different technologies that we bring in, which is AI-based, sir, as you asked. Flex Mobile. Flex Mobile, essentially the computer that's in the car, that what we call that MDT, the mobile data terminal. The information, so when it goes into the CAD screen, goes right into the mobile unit in the car. And these are just, again, some of the components. I'll bring your attention to the mobile phone there. So we have an application called Flex Touch. Think of it almost as an extension of the MDT in the car. So the officer can be in the car. Perhaps they're at an accident scene. They're taking a report. They have to step out of the car, maybe get some information from the driver. They can do everything on the phone. They can scan that driver's license, go back in the car, and pick up right where they left off. They're seamless. Okay, critical feature. You can access your records, access the event itself, the incident through CAD. You can run queries on it. You can check, NCIC for any information related to a potential suspect. There's a lot of features that you can do. We actually see this application as at some day basically replacing the MDT in the car. That's where we're going to in the future. It's just seeing it as a replacement. Flex Records, that's kind of the backbone of the system. That's where all the information is stored, records management system, very robust, the database, again, not only for Yorktown PD, any of the agencies, the Flex agencies that are in Westchester County now, we have 8 of them. We are currently speaking with 6 agencies that we hope to bring on board. We're hoping Yorktown is one of them. They'll be able to share information all with one another. In addition, they can share with other Flex agencies. We have many Flex agencies in New York State. We have many in New Jersey. In fact, South Jersey we kind of call Flex country because there's so many agencies that use Flex. 2,000 agencies across the country. They could share information as the chief deems to be appropriate, and vice versa. Again, just some more capabilities just there as your reference. Next. Okay, so that was a quick kind of quick summary of what the suite is, and I was going to move into some of the quoting that we have done. Unless you have some questions about the suite, more than
Yeah.
happy.
So, so you're saying that it's going to be an on-prem system, so there's going to be servers involved, and then where are the servers sharing this data with other agencies? There's some central location. There's got to be something in the cloud that our servers are
Well,
uploading stuff to.
Yeah, it would go through the Insight tool that's within Flex would be going through the cloud to access that information from other agencies.
And so, if I'm in the car, I'm in a patrol car, right, and I'm uploading data, and the internet connection goes down at the police station, then what?
It stays in the system. When it picks up the signal again, it resumes uploading or downloading.
So we're
whatever
talking
it
about
is.
redundant internet connections.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because if that goes down, then you're kind of like in the dark in the field.
Yes, absolutely. So, but it doesn't lose. So you could be typing a report, signal
I get
goes
it.
down, you hit
It
a dead
syncs.
spot.
It does an offline sync. I got you. No problem. So, all right. Well, how many servers are we talking about that are going to be on-prem?
So right now we're talking about a singular server. I believe for the PD, that's probably the appropriate size. We've talked about providing the specs to the department. It may be beneficial to purchase the servers on your own, but on the other hand, we could also do it too.
Well, I'd like to see the specs on the servers to see what redundancy is built in, because I mean, you're talking about one server that's going to be the central component. So I mean, it's fine. I mean, that's how life works. But all right.
Okay. And just by way of security standards, CGIS compliant, there's audits, SOC audits that get done on it. I don't want to get too technical with it because I am not a technical expert in that area, but there's so much redundancy in terms of security, and as well as our own cyber security services within the company to ensure against potential hacking or anything like that.
I got one quick question for Chief. Would this help with FOIL requests? That's why I see it helping with FOIL requests.
You'd have to stand up to answer, Chief.
That's a great question. It's something that we can work with Sam and his team on if we do decide to move forward. But
Another component.
Yeah, no. If it helps us retrieve information quicker and it allows us to do that,
That's what I see it as.
we can then get that information in a timelier fashion to the clerk's office and allow our legal team to redact as necessary. So, I'm hoping that not only for FOILs but for any type of information that we need to look up, that we'll be able to do that. And to your question also, Councilman, I know you'd mentioned the data conversion. There's two different price points on that. There's a partial conversion where we just be getting the wanted persons, our hazard flags, our people that we're kind of dealing with quite often in the community, or a full data conversion.
You have to go full, Chief. I mean, the whole idea is to consolidate, right? Not have everything in a million places. Although we'll talk about the data conversion, because I don't know what a full data conversion means, but I'm in the IT industry and full never really means full, but we could discuss that.
And when we refer to full, we're talking about the CAD information along with the records information. So I think some of our discussions have involved, what's probably the most important thing is the information in the records management system of bringing that over. A couple of different variations, maybe a standalone server for some of the other information. We're still working on ironing that out. Whatever's the most cost efficient for you.
Chief, the current system is that you guys are using now, that's a server at the police station?
Can you clarify? I think you said, if I heard it correct, the sharing with the other municipalities, that you could share only with the other municipalities that have this system?
Yes.
So what happens to, you want to share it with a municipality that's not on the system? Is that the way we're doing it now? How would you share with those?
Not through the Flex system.
So, yeah, and how do you share now?
We share now. It's a mutual request from another agency, so that you know how we got here. Back when we made the move to it's called Central Square now, and the impact system. When I became chief, we decided to make that move because at the time there were 22 agencies that were part of the impact system, and again, I wanted to operate outside of any silos. Those customers, I believe, they're dropping. They're leaving this system and going elsewhere. And some of the very departments that have made the move and are currently examining making a move in the near future are impact customers, which is what we use right now. So again, I'm trying to stay ahead of things, and I think this is, it's probably the best product I've seen, as long as it's user friendly for my people, and it provides the data in a simple fashion. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of me making the move in present day that I made back in 17, 18.
What it says, if you're sharing with another municipality on Flex, can they automatically access Yorktown data? Or do
No,
they
I
have to
think
request
I
it?
think Sam can explain that, Mr. Abadi, but I think it has to be through our consent. It would have to be, yes, I'm allowing this jurisdiction to do that. Right, the authorization, yes.
So with the same request that a municipality that's not using Flex, you would respond. Would there be much of a difference in the mechanics and the efficiency of responding?
I mean, look, I'm sure there's a way. I mean, we have police departments all the time that call up and they need some information, and we do our best to get it to them as timely as possible. If they're on that Flex network, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, I think it'd be pretty seamless. If it's not, then it may take a little longer to share that information. But, in 2025 and 2026 is right around the corner, that's all we look to do is share information and
No,
try to.
sharing is important, yeah.
Absolutely.
So if someone was outside the Flex, it's more manual than it is electronic?
Yeah, I mean,
I would think
It's the
so.
same.
it would
It's
have
the
to be manual.
It would be the same process that they have now. I mean, not everybody's on the impact system. The idea, I think, what Chief is trying to describe is that people are jumping ship from the impact system, and they're migrating over to the Motorola system that we're speaking about now. And so that's what that's going to do is it's going to give you more seamless sharing, and as more people come on, seems to be the product of the day. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be on the Motorola system. It doesn't mean that everybody's on the impact system. There's always going to be, a manual, that there's always going to be that. I don't think you're ever going to get rid of anything like that. So,
Sure.
yeah.
So you guys took over in 2016, Spillman Technologies, and then created this. And it's true because totally not related to public safety, but when new technology comes out, like I saw a lot of it in pool, G stuff, Pentair was great, and then so-and-so, somebody else would buy it because they had one feature they loved. And then if you had the old Pentair hydro pump or something, you couldn't get it serviced, or the parts would die. So at this point, you guys kept, Motorola obviously has a legacy, and then when they took over Spillman, they just keep reinvesting in the program. So it only becomes a one-stop shop, but they're also supported by big roots, like investors and whatnot. So they're not going out. They're not just selling to sell.
No, and it's also important to note, we have two other systems, so it's not just Spillman. By far, Flex is our largest system, but we have
Nice.
a larger, a little bit more expensive system that's primarily utilized for much larger agencies. Like, for example, Philly PD, where I worked for a number of years, they have our record system, the Premier One record system. City of Yonkers has a Premier One system. It's kind of designed more for those larger agencies that have some different needs and, very importantly, have the infrastructure to support it from an IT standpoint.
So my question
Critically
is, would you be
important.
able to upgrade them?
You could, but honestly,
They don't need it, I was just
Flex. Honestly, you'd be wasting. I'd love to do that, but you'd be wasting.
No,
your
I just
money.
didn't know if it
Yeah.
transitioned.
I'm sure you would.
I'm sure I would.
For the board, if I could just ask if you want to make some notes, have some questions, we're gonna have to get through this, and we're gonna not be making any calls today. So if we could let him finish the presentation, we have a long agenda.
I'd like to
so-
know
Probably
about the cost.
Yes,
That's where he's
that's what
going
we're going to do now. Save the best for last. So, John. So, you see the term there, budgetary, and I just want to be very specific with that. What we mean by that, the budgetary figures, because we have not even finalized anything in terms of integrations. What you're going to do with data conversion? What are you going to do with servers? So this was more a budgetary quote to give the chief and his team an idea of what some of the costs would be. Also, very important is we are working with, they are Mamaroneck Town, Mamaroneck Village, Briarcliff Manor, Newcastle Town, as well as 3 other agencies that are not that far ahead, but those are the primary agencies that we have proposals in front of. We reached this point with Chief Noble because we are shaping this as a joint proposal. They're individual quotes tailored, each of the solutions are tailored individually for the department, but for purchasing power, they are joining forces to do this as kind of a
Consortium.
yeah,
2 for 1.
but they're all individual. I want to be crystal clear on that. So, and for those of you in the technology industry, so Motorola end of the year, we have some special incentives. That's why we designed with the maximum discounting. In fact, the discount rate we are offering here is the same one we used for the other 5 agencies from 24, the ones I mentioned, Bedford, Osling, the other departments. So it's max discounting. We are applying that to all 5 agencies, as well as some of the other agencies that are considering coming on board. Okay, so very important to note. $969 is the grand total, and that's based on that specific discount we are offering before the end of the year. It's actually before December 15th, but we have a little bit of wiggle room there on some of the time. The system total, as you see, and these are what we call SI costs, system integration costs. There are costs associated in the first year with switching Yorktown from Impact to Motorola system. There are teams of engineers, solution architects that come out. There are trainers. They basically set up the system. They configure it. They work on it. Basically, it can take anywhere from 12 to 16 months. Again, we could speed up that timeline based on the input from the PD, but it's very labor intensive. That's why the costs in year 1 are obviously significantly higher than the out years we call 2 through 10. However, what we've done in discussions with Chief Noble, next one, John?
So the year 1 costs don't include any hardware? Or is that with hardware?
Without hardware. And quite frankly, it would probably be a little bit more cost effective, especially if we give you the specs, depending on what arrangements you have with some of the vendors. It may be more cost effective. We can sort of do a cost comparison. You know, if it's going through us with margins and everything, I think you know how that works. So that's why I always recommend, I'm always straight up with the folks that I work with. Maybe check on your own, see what pricing you can get. It may be a little bit cheaper for you to get it on your own. So what you see here, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but what we did to make that initial $741 cost a little bit easier on the city here is divide that. And again, as you see on the top, this is proposed. I'm still working with our finance division to kind of crunch out those numbers, but essentially for purposes of tonight, I wanted to kind of show what it would look like. We can split the cost over 3 years, and it would come out at $241 per year, and obviously plus the maintenance costs of each year. The maintenance cost stays steady at $27,000. The key here is with this 10-year deal, and this is what we kind of banked everything on with all the agencies, you are locking in that rate for the next 10 years. What you're going to pay in year 8 is the same as you will pay in year 2. There are no hidden costs. We don't do that. We don't play games like that. The cost stays the same.
So the cost is over 3 years, but the work will still get done within 12 to 16 months.
Yes, or sooner.
Or sooner.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's gonna be dripped over the time because.
No, we're just trying to make it easier. We're obviously, you know.
I understand
Sure.
that. I understand also like how you're grabbing networks that are near us and making it worth everyone
Yeah.
because you're all going to speak with each other. But I just want to make sure that it's not that because of the payment plan,
Yeah,
you're off to somebody else who paid you in full.
Sure. And again, just by way of background, we generally do not do that. I will tell you in full transparency, the agencies that we dealt with last year all paid that first year cost. And that's normally
makes
what
more
we
sense.
do.
Okay.
Because what happens is we incur those costs.
Right.
And we're kind of operating in the red
Yeah.
for the first 3 years.
Because of all the labor.
Yeah,
But Chief
so-
Noblesworth,
I'd like to think so.
yeah, I think so too.
Did a lot of arm twisting.
Yeah.
So we're only presenting this as kind of an option to kind of, we could certainly do it that way. We can maybe perhaps talk about splitting it over the first 2 years, if that works for you. But in this case, I just wanted to show kind of what it would look like, give or take. And it's at 241, and then obviously the maintenance costs stay steady throughout.
What do the maintenance costs look like? What's included in the maintenance costs?
Full service and support. Our support line, MSI Help, it's a 24/7 operation. If there's an issue, for whatever reason, I mean, you're in IT, right, sir?
Yep.
So sometimes things come up.
No,
You
100%.
call that number. If the CAD system is down, generally speaking, they will make that a high priority. They're on it. We had an issue with another agency here recently. Within 10 minutes, they got them back up and running. Critically important, whether it's at 4 in the morning, you work round the clock. We
do you
can't
guys-
say, hey, wait till the morning.
So as far as the 27,000, is that 27? I can't see it.
Yes, 27,278.
All right. That does that include hardware support and all of that stuff?
Yes, it would be support towards everything in the system.
Software upgrades?
Let me backtrack for a second. If you get the servers on your own, then it's whatever
T&M.
comes with that server.
Usually,
Whatever
it's a
that warranty
Usually,
is.
you're not getting more than a 5-year warranty on a server, but so you got a 10-year. So you're saying if they get the hardware through you, it would be a 10-year hardware warranty?
We can price it out like that. I haven't done that for this purpose, but we can certainly get back to you with that, what that would look like. So you're right. It may be beneficial if you want to cover yourself for the 10 years. Maybe you go through Motorola. That's just an option for you.
Will this system work on the computers that are currently in our patrol cars, or will they have to be upgraded?
Sorry. It has to be
I
upgraded.
haven't looked at your MDTs. Are they fairly new? Okay. They're the tough books, or? Okay. So I'm pretty sure they should be compatible.
Pretty sure or really sure? Because
Well, we'll have to
well,
speak.
that would be so that we don't have the additional cost of replacing
Yeah.
X number of.
And again, that's why, ma'am, this is budgetary. So if there's an agreement to at least have further discussions, what we would do is we would sit with the chief and his team in the next week or so and sit down and go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. We'll take a look at the MDTs, make sure they're compatible. If you wanted to use the mobile phone application, all these things we will iron out.
Well, the MDTs are Windows-based tough books, you said, right? So they're going to be compatible.
But so is it better to, just in your experience, is it better to fix it all at the same time, knowing the date of it, than buying things in pieces and then
Yes.
something
No,
falls?
I think you would have to look at the MDTs, but if they're fairly new, it's going to be compatible.
We have not had any issues.
Yeah.
I just,
I don't think there's a
rather
question.
than
Okay,
tell
it's
you
one-
100%, I'm like
an action item.
99.99% sure.
It'll be all right.
So essentially, this proposal is contingent upon being able to close for this year. Motorola, our year ends December 31st. We start to close the books on December 15th. The discount that's being offered is actually from last year. In addition, this model, it's called a perpetual model, is changing to subscription starting in January. That's why it's much more cost efficient for you all. The way we would propose to do this is with what we call a notice to proceed. And that essentially authorizes Motorola to start doing some of the upfront work. It's based on good faith on the part of the town. There's some other parameters there that you are intending to move forward with Motorola. It's just you maybe for whatever reasons you can't issue a purchase order right now. It has to be in 26. But you're locking in the prices now with this notice to proceed. It gets our teams ready to go when you're ready on your end. And like I said, most importantly, it locks in that discount.
Does Motorola have any intention of going cloud-based?
Yes. However, for these current
No,
customers...
no, I get that, but
Yeah.
that's going to help year 5, 6, 7, whenever you do it, whenever.
And quite frankly, we were planning to do that a while back. We got a lot of pushback from law enforcement agencies. They're just a reluctance to move to the cloud. So we've stayed on-prem. We're going to go in stages, go hybrid, and then ultimately, as a company, I don't make the plans, but I think the plan is at some point to go cloud.
Could you give us an estimate if we can't make a decision and lock this in by December 31st, what you anticipate the cost would be for the same service in 2026? If we need more time to discuss and review.
Yeah,
What
ma'am,
would the difference
in
be?
all, yeah,
If it goes to subscription, it's going to be a lot more.
yeah.
What are we talking about in terms of?
It's going to be a few $100,000 more because it's a subscription base. Within our subscription platform, there are other services that are wrapped into it. That's just the model that not only our company, all companies are going with, is with subscription. From Microsoft to whoever, you name it, that is the model that they are going forward with. It actually has started already. We had to make an exception with this. We were honoring the agreement from last year with the other Westchester agencies. That's why we're doing this.
And that's an absolute certain that,
100%, ma'am.
you know, just as one board member, let's say you have a wonderful system, and I'm not disputing the system or the efficiencies, but as a board member, I really feel under the gun to make a very expensive decision with such short time with lots of questions that I would like answered.
Sure.
I just don't know why this couldn't have been brought to us earlier with more time, because we have to weigh this expense, which could be a very legitimate expense. I'm not questioning that, but we have umpteen other expenses, and we have to sometimes.
So, Susan,
make
this was brought to me on Friday. They've been talking to the chief. They've been looking to see what the best avenue would be. I met with the chief Friday afternoon. We discussed it. He was able to get Motorola in today because we know there's not a lot of time. And as I said, today won't be a day where we're going to say, okay, that's good, let's go jump in. But this gives us a couple of weeks to be able to mull it over,
Hash it out.
research it, ask the questions, and then if we want to move forward, move forward.
So I got a question for you, Chief. The
Yeah.
the current system that you have, you said is over 9 years old.
Not over, but it's
About 9
it's
years
getting
old.
there. Yeah.
And you're saying that the implementation of this is going to be about 12 to 16 months. I think I heard you say, or something to that effect, right?
What
You estimate.
We'd look to get it done quicker than that.
Yeah, no, I get you. But and your current system that's approaching 9 years old, that's on the same hardware that you bought 9 years ago.
Yeah, unless we've upgraded something, I don't have that in front of me. But yeah, no, it's we just pay the annual cost. The last few years, they impact Central Square. I mean, and they've changed names. They used to be Zerker. There used to be something else. The name changes every couple of years as to who the who the vendor is, and I won't go to more than a 1-year contract with them, only because that's my fear. Is that, you know what, I'm going to be the last one in the room when everybody else vacates that room. So, and to your question about a timeline, making this in a quick decision, I attended a meeting with these gentlemen in mid-October. So we've been working quite diligently, and I tried to make this happen as quickly as possible while we researched our own capabilities. So we're moving as quickly as possible at the police department. I still have about $100,000, I believe, in a law enforcement technology grant that we could use. Our grant writer secured the town of Carmel $100,000 for a similar arrangement where a consortium was agreed upon to do this. And the last migration that we had, which was done by whoever Central Square was back when we joined Impact, it was done so horribly that we withheld funds that the comptroller still has. In case they had asked for it, for those funds, I kept it squared away, and those funds are still available, I would believe, to be used for this migration as well. So, that's kind of where we're at. I mean,
Chief, your people have vetted this already, or since October. You guys been all over it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I know. We know the timeline. I mean, I wish we could have had more time to come to you, but if I had come to you the week after I met with these gentlemen, I wouldn't have had near the information that I have right now.
I mean, I'm not,
So-
I'm not necessarily terribly concerned over the timeline. I understand it's a little tight, but I
Yeah.
think I'm okay with it as long as from what you're saying, you guys have already thoroughly vetted this
Fits your
software.
requirements.
You know that it fits the requirements. You're committed, sir, to delivering above and beyond what they currently have. Is that accurate?
The other thing is, and I, Sam and his team and our finance, our team can look at this, but, the 27278, man, I don't know if I'd pass an eye test at DMV. We're looking at that. I think I got it right. But
Take your license.
yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But after the next increase to our vendor for our CAD RMS to impact, that number is going to be up to 41 and change, I believe. So, I'm not the mathematician here, but I would think if you want to bump that 27 up to 41, you multiply that by 10. I think that's about 140K you could take off the top, if I'm not mistaken.
You are
Correct?
You are correct.
Thank you. At the risk of sounding like whoever my cousin Vinny's attorney was, I was hoping my numbers were right. But, there's ways to kind of bring that number, that sticker shock, down. But again, my primary concern, and I know yours is, the taxpayer, the numbers, and is this a wise move? But, if it increases officer safety, allows us to work smarter, and to get information as quickly as possible out to the guys that are working out there right now in the dark and the rain. I mean, that's where my heart is and that's where my head's at. So,
So, Chief, real quick, the data migration, you said you could do a partial or a full. Have you guys analyzed that at all? Because sometimes you're better off with a clean database instead of forcing, garbage in, garbage out.
no, I know, but
know.
then, the only
Have you
risk
looked
is.
at that side of the
No,
data?
we do want to take. We
Yeah, I
definitely
get
want
it.
to get our warrants and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
our wanted, and our hazard flags. There's houses we have flagged where it's,
Yep.
hey, look, we've been here multiple times and it's not the safest place to be. So that is definitely coming over. That's got to come over.
Yep.
But again, if our old system where we have this, are we going to keep that server up? I mean, that's something that
What's the
Sergio,
cost of that?
you know more than me on that. I mean, listen, man, I am not your IT guy. I am a guy who knows the law backwards and forwards and tries to make good decisions out there.
Typically, what you would do is you would overlap, right? They would do this full migration. You would keep the old system running
Yeah.
for legacy support for
Right.
a little while.
Yes.
Until you guys verify that the migration was successful and it's valid, right? I mean, you're happy with the way the migration and the data came over. There's no holes, there's no gaps, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to keep the old system running at some point for a little while.
Absolutely.
So if you do a partial
Probably 12
migration,
months.
it's going to be a long while. And now you got two, you're going to have two fees, right? You're going to have to keep the old system running.
So, Chief, can I just comment on that?
Because I'm sure there's licensing involved in
Yeah.
that.
So one of the things that I wanted to point out, actually three areas, ma'am, and I want to address what your concerns are. So with this, the amount that you see, we've already discussed ways to shave that down a little bit for some, I believe, some significant savings for you. But as it relates to the data conversion, there's a couple of different ways we can do it. I think I heard about, bringing all the old stuff in. We've actually had agencies who've done that, and then afterward they realize, why did we bring in quote unquote all this garbage in, right? Like data that's older data, a lot of mistakes in it. So there's a couple of different ways we can do through our Insight tool. It's almost like having a standalone server. So when you need to search something within the Flex system, you can type a name and an address, and it'll reach out and query that server. So this way you're not pulling in all of the old data versus going full-blown data conversion, bringing it in and mixing it and mingling it all with the new data sets. So that's kind of a different way.
Go back and look. That would be your legacy research and your legacy data.
Yeah. And then one other point, ma'am, if I could. So I can't get into too many details as to why we've been working this the last few months. It wouldn't be fair on my part. It wouldn't be fair to those agencies that we've been working with, but we recognize, I'll just say it generically, we recognize there have been some struggles, let's just say, from other vendors in the area. And we feel we're in a good position because of what we can do to really kind of remedy that situation. That's why agencies have come on board with us. We continue to bring on agencies. We've been working on these proposals for a few months. It was only with the notion of some of Chief Noble's peers that we said, hey, what if we combine 4 or 5 or 6 agencies so we can get you a greater discount, which is what we did. So the discount is higher, but again, it was contingent upon, hey, if you 5 come together and you execute before the end of the year, because Motorola is providing this big incentive, that's why we're doing it like that. So I apologize if it sounds like we're really not. We are providing some significant, substantial savings for Yorktown by doing it like this.
So, that being said, I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
Sure.
These are our people, right? I mean, we need our guys and our men and women in law enforcement safe.
Absolutely.
Right, that's primary, right? Their lives are so important. They're the most important because they put their lives on the line. Try waking up in the morning strapping on a bulletproof vest as part of your daily clothing, and it's surreal. And so are you going to be able to deliver this stuff? I mean, we need guaranteed delivery. I know you're working with 6 other agencies.
Yeah.
Where are we on the totem pole there? And again, it all comes down to officer safety, and I think
Sure.
this product can provide a better experience to keep everybody safe here.
So if I may, sir,
Yeah.
and I say this with all the respect in the world, that gentleman and I have spent many years in law enforcement. These are our brothers and sisters in blue.
Then you understand.
I would never. I mean, this is what I did. I dedicated my entire life, adult life, to it. So that's first and foremost. We're not selling and running. We're here for the long haul at Motorola. We have so many, with your ambulance corps, with your fire department, with your services, commercial, like we're everywhere. We're not going anywhere. Number 2, in terms of the deployment, you mentioned something a little bit earlier about maintaining the system through impact. What we would want to try to do, if we can have a decision sooner rather than later, is to try to get it to coincide as much as possible so that maybe we can finish within a year. Bedford, they signed in last December. They went live, I believe it was Labor Day. Okay, so maybe about 7 months, because they dedicated full resources. Hey, we want to get this done. Same thing with Larchmont. Larchmont signed a little bit earlier. I believe they signed in October. They went live right around that time period. The deployment team in speaking to my partner here, we want to use the same deployment team that did the other Westchester agencies because they're very familiar with Westchester, the requirements in New York State with the track system. So that's going to enhance and speed things up because they already know what to do. And our teams are large enough so that if we are doing Yorktown, we also have secondary and tertiary teams that would handle, for example, Briarcliff, that would handle Mamaroneck. And again, they wouldn't be going live the exact same week. We would kind of
Stagger them.
Yeah, stagger them, exactly.
Just have one other question, and this is a question for the chief. In the past year or two, have you looked into other systems besides the impact that you have and the Flex? Because it sounds like there are other vendors. And no disrespect meant to your system. Just as a shopper, I'd like to see all my options. So, and this is something that I clearly defer to the chief on. Have you looked at any other options and decided that Flex is better than X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, we think it's better than the hexagon plan that was proposed, by Westchester County. We've spoken to other law enforcement agencies who, a couple of them bailed on the project, and I think this product is superior to the hexagon, and I think ours, while it's still serviceable right now, it's I wouldn't want to be the last one in the room, and the agencies that did make the move to Motorola, they've been pleased thus far. I respect, my peers who have made that move, and I would think they, steer me away from it if there were warning signs. But yeah, I think it's superior to the hexagon product, and I think it will be superior to the product that we currently have right now.
Thank you.
I don't think I have any other questions for you, but thank you for answering everything.
So are there any other slides? or we just-
No, that's it, sir.
So are
Thank
you a
for your
Steelers
time.
fan or an Eagles fan?
Can we get the lights turned
Giants,
back on?
Yankees.
Did you see the game the other day?
Sam, John,
Oh
thank
my
you for your
gosh.
time. Thank you for your time.
So,
It's knowledgeable. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. How long has Yonkers had the system?
Probably about 3 years. The P1, maybe 4. The P1 is far more complicated. What I would say.
Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta step the man behind the curtain was yelling.
As police commissioner in Yonkers, we adopted the P1 system, and Sam referred to that earlier. And from an IT standpoint, Mr. Esposito, it's a far more complicated system. The problem is we get excited in policing about customization, and it's like it's great to have a Maserati, but it also costs $900 to change the oil. And I don't know if we want that. What we want for police is we want a robust system that's reliable, that gets us the right information at the right time, and doesn't break down, and the cops don't go crazy because it's overly complicated. That's what you're looking for here. It's in some ways that there's simplicity, but you also need enough complexity to make sure you can do your job. This will do the job. It's kind of like the old Crown Vics where you guys probably bonded for Crown Vic police cars. We ran them for 200,000 miles, and then livery cab drivers bought them and did another 200,000 miles, and they're still up and running.
Right.
That's the system. So
Does it share with the P1? The
it
Flex?
it definitely can share with the P1. Yes, and I think the chief said it, and he's all over this, and he's got the right focus. He's thinking about his people, and he's thinking about our clients, which are the residents of Yorktown. And how can we do a better job with them and make sure we have all the information we need to get what we need to get out and make everybody safe and continue to move forward. Technology is tough for police departments. It's like anything else. We weren't designed to have to know all this stuff. We don't have IT backgrounds. But when you get a good system that's reliable, that can deliver what it needs to deliver, it's worth the juice is worth the squeeze.
So in the next couple of weeks, I'll probably be reaching out to you guys. I'll get the contact, and then we'll. I just want to go over some tech details with you guys, and warranties and stuff like that on hardware and that kind of stuff.
I could set up something with one of our engineers, if you guys see.
That'd be great.
And that would apply to anybody on the board, Mr. Murphy, Ms. Siegel, anybody who wants to speak to us. We will make ourselves available to answer all those deep questions. I mean, it's a tribute to see how the board works and make sure that you're doing right by the people's funding. So thank you.
Hey,
And our cops.
do you gentlemen have cards?
That it?
Chief?
Do you have any recap on, Chief?
No, I know the number is what it is, but it just seems like a smart decision.
Sounds to
and I
me
know
like
you.
you're on your way to an upgrade with the other system anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So.
So
Thank you.
that
Chief, I forgot something very important. I forgot to mention.
You need to go to the mic.
you gave me $500 before.
Just as an aside, just of interest to you, so our system, we just upgraded, I'm sorry. We're in the process of upgrading. It's almost complete, so you're not gonna have to worry about upgrades. Typically with vendors, when they upgrade, then comes some costs associated with that. So you don't have to worry about Flex for quite a while.
So your mannerisms, and I just off on a side topic, your mannerisms and everything remind me of somebody in Yorktown. And you just handed me your card, and I know who your brother is. You guys look alike.
Yeah.
He's
Is
a
it
great guy.
Abe?
He's a great guy.
Is it Abe?
And a cop.
It's Abe, right?
Yeah, it's Abe. That's so funny. Sorry, Chief.
I thank you for your time, attention, and courtesy, and I want to wish you and your families a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Chief. The same
Happy
to you.
Thanksgiving to you and yours as well.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful holiday. Ciao.
All right, at this time, I'd like to open a public hearing, convene a public hearing to consider the application of John Burrell, Panbar Realty, for tree and stormwater permits for a project located at 3370 Hollywood Street, Mohegan Lake, New York.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. Yourself? Happy Thanksgiving.
Introduce yourself.
Happy Thanksgiving.
John Barilli, Louis Pani, Panbar Realty. And we're here for stormwater and tree permit approval, I guess it is, for 3370 Hollywood.
Okay, I have a couple of letters here. Planning Board, they request extension for referral. Here, the Advisory Board on Architectural and Community Appearance have no comments. Then we have Planning Board again from October 10th. Consider installing riprap along the stormwater basin, prevent erosion. Town's wetland consultant should confirm the boundaries of the wetland. The plan shows a space between the 100-year flood zone and conservation area. The conservation area should be expanded to include this section. The planning board notes that a conservation easement would benefit the wetland and wetland buffer by restricting any future development. However, this is not a mitigation measure per Town Code Section 2710. It is recommended that other mitigation measures be considered. The applicant should describe the results of the flood study that was conducted, such as flood elevations, depth to stream bed, stream velocity, etc.
Excuse me, Ed, what was the date of that last
That
planning
that
board
was that
memo?
was October 10th, but then I got one today for November 25th, and the only two things on this are show the 100-foot wetland buffer line on the site plan, and provide a tree inventory using the town's tree inventory worksheet. So, Mr. Tegeter, where are we with these issues? Or
Also, the last memo that I saw was October 9th that said you wanted them to come back to the planning board, and I didn't see any
oh,
Did they ever come back to the planning board after their October 6th meeting?
sorry. So Foothill. So that
That was that first one.
But did the planning board to say they wanted them to come back?
killing me, Diana.
You knew it too, like you were on the clock.
I tried to get away. I was close. I was close.
Like a time bomb.
Oh, where was I?
Yeah,
The planning board wanted to have time to formulate their, review the plans more and formulate their comments, which turned out to be only a couple of comments. So,
so it really should go back to the planning board, it would seem, right?
I'm sorry.
So the planning board still has to, would like.
Once the plans are revised, we would expect that they would come back for a quick look.
That's my question, yeah. So it would be premature.
Tree inventory and wetland stuff. So
So it'd be too premature for us to make a decision without the planning board's review of it.
well, we could make a decision based on the planning board's approval as well, because it's for the permits. So,
I don't think this is that complicated.
yes, I know. I'm sorry? We,
Got the resolution that Dan sent.
yes, we do have a,
The re-
we have a recommended to be considered. That's not it. Where's Dan's?
On the back page.
No, that's the other one.
That's
just in
public
case.
hearing.
I have it in my phone. All right.
Are there any public
So,
comments?
well, let's just have, did you have anything to add for what you're looking before I open for public comment? Thank you, Dan.
No, we actually weren't aware of any wetlands on there.
You weren't aware of any wetlands.
Well, maybe that was one you read before that was for Foothill.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Yeah, ignore that.
the clerk was, slipping me a
We're gonna
Mickey there.
retract that one, okay.
I didn't hear a thing.
Sorry.
He's like, no problem.
Now I have nothing
Sure,
to
no, get up.
Now I have nothing to say.
Okay. You sure you're not migrating this property over to Foothill Street? Because that's where the wetlands are. All right, so we'll open for public comment. Is anyone here to speak on this? Please come to the microphone, introduce yourself, and
My name is Laszlo Kovacs, and I live next door on Mohegan Lake. On Hollywood Street, 3296 Hollywood Street. Excuse me. And my question is, well, we've been through many zoning board meetings, and the zoning board finally allowed this variance. We never understood why, because there was no hardship shown by the applicant at all, for one thing. And it was allowed on the condition of the stormwater runoff, some sort of a solution. So the developer provided a plan for a so-called rain garden, which obviously I'm not really sure what it is. But my question is, if they create this rain garden, I don't know whether it's going to solve the problem, but let's say it would. What's going to happen if the person or entity that will buy this property will say, I don't want a rain garden in front of my house. I want a cornfield or lilacs. How can we enforce that?
Okay. Dan,
That's all.
can
Please
you
consider.
speak of the stormwater, Dan, and the plan, the mitigation, and answer Mr. Kovacs' question?
The plans we have before us right now do have the rain garden for stormwater mitigation. The applicant's obligation is to mitigate the impact of the new impervious. One of the things we can do is to have on a lot of these, we do a stormwater maintenance agreement to put the owner and any subsequent owner on notice that, as the previous gentleman just said, that they can't fill this thing in their backyard if they don't like it, which a lot of people don't like having these things. In some instances, people have changed them over and put in infiltrators, but the bottom line is, if it's part of the mitigation, we need to ensure that it remains through the various owners in perpetuity.
Now, to do an infiltration system, an infiltrator, more effective, less effective, equal effectiveness?
Well, there's a chance that they did the rain gardens because the groundwater may be high in the area, so it may not have been suitable for this lot.
Okay. And what is a mechanism for the audience, for the upkeep of that maintenance agreement? What is the mechanism that we hold to?
Well, the mechanism would be that if we become aware that it hasn't been maintained properly, or worst case, somebody decided to fill it in, or that sort of thing, and it's not functioning as it was supposed to be, then we can cite them for being in violation of their maintenance agreement and compel the owner to put it back in its originally designed condition.
Very good.
That means the damage has already been done. And rain gardens sound so great in stormwater plans, and I've heard this at the planning board meetings for quite a few years. And that concern is that a homeowner will want to fill it in. And the damage has already been done, and the next door neighbor gets flooded, and whatever happens.
Well, the same is really true of a lot of the practices. When we do infiltrators, if not maintained properly, can fill in and no longer serve their stated purpose.
And if I remember reading something from the Coltech systems, that the filters have to be cleaned, replaced, and there's no mechanism for the town to inspect them. And we have more and more of these systems in place, and it's totally up to the homeowner, which I see as a potential problem down the road.
Well, I like to think that some of our homeowners know how to take care of certain responsibilities that are on their properties. I do have homeowners who bend down and pick up the leaves out of the drain that's in front of their house so that the water does drain. So if they know they have a rain garden, there's got to be a maintenance for it. It probably has some sort of grid or.
So Dan,
If they're not maintaining it, it'll affect their property first.
Right.
Or the next door's property.
Yeah,
Or
but
the water
then
will
we
go
would
into
know.
the road.
Excuse me, everybody, let's
That it's in
let's
violation.
have a conversation like normal people, please. So the idea is that it'll probably affect their property first, and they might take action. But so you'll be able to speak. Just 1 second, okay? Thank you. Is there any other? Well, I got two questions. Is there any other solution that doesn't have these pitfalls, let's say? And secondly, is there a reason why you guys picked rain gardens?
But rain gardens or even Coltex.
Well, hold on. Let's.
I'm just saying
Dan
they can all
answer.
collapse, right?
Can Dan answer?
Go ahead.
I actually picked the rain garden because I thought it would look better. It was clean, it was neat, and it would be added some plants and vegetation in front of the property, and collect all the water and control the stormwater from getting out onto the road. Right now, it just goes to the street now, so we'll stop that. You know.
I think the gentleman,
Yes.
Kovacs, Mr. Kovacs,
Yes, Laszlo Kovacs.
got it right.
Just a little explanation about how this whole thing is set up. The property that we are talking about is on a hill, and they're not going to have a problem with the runoff water. So it's not their interest to keep it clean and properly maintain it. The people across the street will have the hard time when they get flushed out.
Isn't that how it is now?
I have no idea.
Well,
So we just had a lot of rain. How is it?
This is to make up for the
Hi,
impervious surface.
my name's Rosie Laughlin, and I'm the neighbour to the other side. And I guess, first of all, I don't understand what a rain garden is, so I'm going to be researching that when I get home. And while I do understand that neighbours, and most people do pick up leaves and that, some don't. So we have that issue. And yes, we do have stormwater runoff going down that street. So another issue that we have is that we probably could do with some storm drains going down that street, which might solve some of the problems, which might solve your problem. But I'm concerned about a rain garden. I don't know that it's going to solve this problem. And when this is said and done and we have a house on that property, what happens when we have to come back and say to you, what do we do now? Because we've got a problem.
Are there storm drains on the street already?
There's,
Anywhere?
can I just finish? The people across the street have flooding every year because the water runs across the street, and you guys can see this also. The road completely floods, and they have the water running down into their driveways, and their basements usually flood. It's a pity they're not here to speak to that. So that's from pretty much that piece of property all the way across my piece of property down into theirs. So it's not quite that piece of property that's going to be built on, but it's over that direction.
Are you aware of any drains that are close by?
There is going across. So let's say this is the piece of property here that's going to be built on, and this is my piece of property. So it would be along here, and there is a storm drain here. There was, but it seems to be all buried under dirt, and it's just, I'd say it's compressed by dirt.
So from this house, I'm sorry,
Okay.
one more question. So from this house, that on the proposed property that they're building, how far is the closest storm drain? Approximately?
He knows fate.
I'm bad with that too. I can't look
Yeah.
at something and
he
say.
knows the fate.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Just in the mic, please, and introduce yourself.
My name's Charles Beekers. I'm her husband. We live. The storm drains that are there right now are pretty much non-existent. They're full. They're collapsed. All right. It flood anytime of heavy rain. Our property's on the hill. The property that they want to develop is on the hill. All that water just goes right across the street to the two neighbors directly across from us. And the one neighbor, his garage floods every heavy rainstorm. The storm drain that's out in front of our house right now is completely collapsed and totally full. All right. And then the storm drain that comes in off of Christine on the Hollywood doesn't even drain correctly. Okay. And so all that stuff, half of it's going right down into the lake. And then anything on Hollywood Street just runs right into the houses and floods the houses right directly across from us.
So I can tell you this. So when you're on a hill and you put those storm drains on there, eventually with the erosion, even if you backfill it with gravel and item 4, it will weather. And sometimes they'll have perforated piping and or then maybe a Coltex. The cool part about rain gardens, it's almost like a swell, But what happens is it sits plugged in. So as the water comes down, it catches it. And depending on what they have on there, I'm sure John knows, certain trees need a large amount of water. And if they plant certain trees, I used to build them by pools, the roots actually will hold underground in this area that will hold the water, and it will drip down. It sounds like you have a bigger storm drain issue as can be, because even now, if they do a Coltex that would work for their property line, it has no feeding tube. So a lot of the times when I see people putting in houses or whatnot, it's also the texture of A, the kind of plant you have, B, the type of soil you have, whether you have rock or clay, and then the holding pattern. If they put water birch or like willow trees that grow fast, underneath the root ball itself will spread out. Now it's on a hill, so it's not like you're getting to play basketball on it, right? So the root will come in. It almost will build like a false retaining wall underneath the swell of the rain. People like the image of it. I like it because somebody's drinking the water. Because I'll tell you right now, you could put a million things in, especially on a hill, water will find its way.
So what maintenance does it require?
So one of the things it would be, and I guess I'll look at the plan, is getting sustainable plants, right? Getting sustainable plants, and then plants they're perennials. So they stay and they feed all year. Because remember, running water isn't just the rain. It's the snow, it's the moisture. But what you want is you don't want it to pop, like you're seeing now with the storm drain. You don't want it either to collapse or pop out of the ground. Because at that point, over time, whether it sells or not, or whether they cleaned it or not, even if it was a Coltex, you ever see a house on a hill and you start to see the piping coming out of it?
So what we're hoping for here is a good faith agreement between us as citizens.
Yeah, I would love to see what you're planting.
And the people that are going to...
And also the debt.
And these guys, they're doing their best as well. And the people that are going to buy the house, we're hoping for the best.
So yes, but even better than the best, if it's built properly, it goes into a certain amount of depth, the well itself, like the way that the rain, the catch and go goes. So based on how much real gravel and stuff that's in there, plus the root, it'll start to maintain itself. You will see that it will drink it. I think at this point, we might have to talk to Dave about your street. Like, you know what I mean?
Excuse me.
I agree that I think we have two separate issues. I think we have the drains is one issue, which will correct some of the problem. But then my concern is that we will be back here in a certain amount of time and it's that.
Yeah, but we're here now even.
Yes, but my concern is that you will forget about this, but we can't.
No, I understand that, but right now, you have the problem going on right now.
Yeah.
So when they build it, you may have it more, but based on the 18 inches of rain we just got not too long ago, right? You have runoff. When you bite the bottom of the hill, the water will come down. It's about diverting it, almost like making it so that it moves differently. Having roots will almost make it go on like a roller coaster and absorb differently. I'm not saying it is a prettier feature, plus because you're putting more plants, but I do see that this is two separate things.
You clear that hill. The amount of runoff that you got trees and everything else there now holding back a lot of the runoff. You clear that lot. It's going into a non-existent sewer system now that's on that street drainage system. That it's just going to exacerbate it even worse. And the two neighbors across the street are going to be on the phone yelling and screaming because they're getting flooded out.
I would like to clarify a couple things because it seems like there's already that water issue, regardless of this. That's something that we probably need to look. If there is a drainage system, Dan, if you can make a note, we'll go out tomorrow and take a look. So when someone comes in, though, to build a house, the standard that they have is to mitigate any extra water that they would bring. So at that point, it would not solve the problem of the water runoff down the hill. But what the hopes are, in this case, I believe, is that if you do a big enough rain garden, it actually will help mitigate some of the existing problem as well as the new water.
And I guess what my concern is that word that you used is hope.
No, but at the end of the day, people will buy a house. Let's say they didn't have this. Let's say the house was already built years ago. If someone doesn't want to take care of their property, they're not going to take care of their property. I think that if it's sustainable plantings, you will have a better chance, especially because the water's already being taught to go to the lake. It goes right over the rock and down the block. So if it does have sustainable weathering,
I understand.
she has a different
I do
question,
understand.
No,
what
no,
you're
what she's
saying,
saying, hope
but
that they will
but
maintain it.
But here's what I'm saying is, we hope that these people will maintain it. What I would like to see is the other options that you have come up with. That I know that you're trying to make it pretty, but what other options are available also? Because it
Well, I
sounds like
think-
this is
But
just
those
a-
are also hopes.
I think
Like I said, the
the
plastic pops out.
I think that the main point though is that you need a stormwater agreement with the town because any system at all requires maintenance.
I
Whether
agree.
it's changing filters, whether it's cleaning out, so there's going to be a need regardless for a stormwater agreement. And then it's up to the town. Our engineering department goes out. If
Yeah.
someone calls and says, hey, we think there's a problem here, they go out and they do an inspection. If there's an inspection, they say you need to get this fixed. If they do not get it fixed, there's fining involved. So they would have to uphold that agreement in order to be in compliance with their site plan.
But this sounds also
Did you have something to say?
the feeding tube is also an issue.
So the other reason why I went with the rain garden was it doesn't need maintenance. It is a
sustainable.
bowl to catch the water. The water's to drain into the soil. The planting is more to hold it from washing away. That's what the plants are for.
The only problem I see is if you have erosion coming down the hill, that hole
But
can
the
get filled.
erosion is not coming down the hill because you're going to have grass. Everything's going to be contained into drainage, into the rain garden. It pools the water. It then disperses the water into the soil.
Yes.
That's the purpose
But
of a
you
rain
need
garden.
trees and
And it
shrubs.
doesn't need to be cleaned, maintained, anything. It's just a garden.
But you need trees and shrubs.
Well, it'll have shrubs and stuff
no,
in it. Yeah.
that like to drink water.
Yeah. Well,
Because you
yeah.
can put a regular tree there, you put a Japanese maple there, it's gonna die.
Yeah. It'll
It
drown.
needs to be
Yes.
stuff that loves to
But
live
that's
in
a
water.
rain garden. Exactly.
Well,
Which
That's
I
why you need to
think
be
you
aware
should
of
do
what
it
a
everywhere
rain
this
garden
water.
is.
But just so we're clear, the stormwater design, the existing conditions, whether it's wooded, lawn, impervious, is all considered. It's really the change from what's there now. So that's all considered in determining the size of whether it be infiltrators or a pond or a rain garden. all those factors are considered. It's really, the existing condition plays very heavily into the sizing.
I think
I
Susan
have,
has a comment.
I have a question and a comment. One is just a quick question. How many trees are being cut down? Okay, that's number one. But two, if I heard you correctly, you said in choosing a rain garden as opposed to infiltrators was because of the high water table. So if it's
Well, I was just speculating.
well, that was part of the speculation. So if it's a high water table, the rain garden can only is limited in what it can absorb, and guess where the excess goes? Right onto the street.
Rain
into the
garden, though,
budding-
you can do with shallower
The
ground.
water's always gonna go to the streets.
Well, that's it. But then the
slowing
We're,
it down.
we're gonna go, we're gonna go out there. Obviously, this is an issue, and we'll report back to the board about
Yeah.
our findings about the soil conditions. We'll speak to the engineer and also
Yeah, as well.
to evaluate the drainage on the street, because this evening we became aware that no matter what happens with this application, there's a pre-existing problem on the drainage on that street.
Yeah, and then
And that
I
needs
think
to
the
be
soil test is important to see to what extent the rain garden will be effective. But how many trees are coming down from the site?
We have 2 dead trees coming down and 5 trees besides that. In the
I put,
Yeah, folks. Dan, hold on. Dan, do you know what the tree cut? I'm asking my engineer to come up.
I don't know if, I didn't see any correspondence in my file from the tree committee, so I don't know if the clerk received anything, but I don't know if they've been before them, so I have no,
Do we have any idea on the trees that are being cut down? John, you got it. Sorry. I don't want to hear Tom anymore. Welcome, Tom.
In our memo from today, we asked for the tree inventory.
The tree, okay,
Good,
so we don't know exactly what's there yet.
We do not.
Dan, can you over-engineer the rain garden to absorb AKA more water than, than they anticipate with the new house and some extra runoff? Can you over-engineer that?
I mean, we can revisit the design, take a look at it. But from what I'm hearing, the real issue may be the existing drainage system.
Well,
isn't
there's a
working.
problem now, so it can only get better because there's a problem now that the other houses across the street flood out. That's what I hear.
Right, but it sounds like
Ma'am, we
You
can't.
gotta come up.
You could
Come
come
up.
up when you and talk into the mic, but we really can't yell from the audience.
Just,
Oh,
ma'am, just come up.
Come
just
on up.
stand in
You're
line.
allowed
You
to.
can Come up. You
You're
can
allowed
speak.
to. It's a
We'll-
public hearing.
You're more than welcome to speak. We'd love to hear from you. Dan?
But, I mean, obviously what we're hearing is that there's a flooding problem
Yes.
that irregardless of if this application moves forward or not, should be addressed. These
100%. I agree.
people obviously have a
Yes.
a drainage
Well, I
problem
marked
on
it
their
down,
street.
Hollywood. I'm gonna. I guess we'll.
Well, we're going to go there tomorrow, so.
All right.
Is that what
You're in tomorrow, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember the soil
It's
test,
exciting.
please. The soil test.
I just wanted to mention that it's definitely not just surface water runoff. It's the water table. Even though it's on a hill, I definitely know ever since they put the new sewer system, which was like 20 years ago, water runs underneath the surface. And as it hits that, it comes up by the edges of the blacktop.
Because of the lake, yeah.
So it's definitely high water table
Yeah, you have the lake right
issue.
I live on
So
a hill
it's-
and we have a high water table also.
There's no
All of
no
Yorktown
way
is
that
like
if the water is seeped into the seeping into the ground, that's going to help any.
But that's what I'm
any of the
saying. You
situation.
need something to soak it up.
I think we would rely on the
Well, the soak-
engineering for.
the
If
soaking
you
up.
put a cold, you have to mitigate. The property has a lot and block of where it is. You put a house on it, you have to mitigate it based on whatever the extension is. So whether he puts a Coltex, whether he puts 18 million pipes up and down and around, at the end of the day, eventually, give it 5-10 years, if you have such a high water table where it's going underneath it and over it, it's gonna come to surface. Then you gotta excavate again and put them back down, rehook them up. The gutters are gonna pop. So at some point, I'm telling you, vegetation is the way to go because
Exactly my point.
'Cause they can go
They
down.
are talking about a couple of trees. It's at least 10 trees and a lot of vegetation.
okay, well we don't have that from the tree commission, but I hear that.
I have photos in the file.
Young lady, come on up. Introduce yourself, please.
My name, I live in front of the property. Yes, my name is Ana Obligado.
Hi, Anna.
Yes. And I live for over 40 years in that area. When it rains a lot, I have a river behind my house. I don't know what's the reason because I'm not an engineer. I don't know those details. I have a river, and I have to go there and make sure to clean so the water will go down to the next house. Don't ask me what is the reason for that. So a lot of rain. I have my river back there that I have to make sure that the water goes to the neighbor's house, because otherwise it will be in my house. Aside from that, I have water in my base when there is lots of water, lots of rain. Aside from that, in front of that property, when it rains, it doesn't even have to rain too much. It gets flooded. There is water. And if it stops rain, you can't walk because when the car's coming, you get completely wet. So I don't know what's the fault, whose fault, and what it is, or the reason geographically. I don't know. But I know that I get all the water because I'm lower. And the water is everywhere on the streets. And the seats there. Very dangerous too. It's just the only thing that I have to say there.
Thank you.
I hope that you guys find a solution for that. I don't know.
Well, Dan and I will look into it tomorrow. And Dan, make sure you wear your boots because I think we're going to be in her backyard too, since we just got a lot of rain today.
It's gonna be raining all day tomorrow.
Hi, my name's Andre Obligado.
Hey, Andre.
That was my mother. I can explain
You
why.
better go clean that river.
I can explain why there's a
She's
river.
quite lovely, by the way.
I'm a geologist. It's because there's a high water table, and the water table just rises above the surface, and that's why she has a river. That's how high it is. And if you looked under her basement, the water table is about 6 inches to a foot, and She literally has a river going behind her house, and then it goes past her house, and it goes to 1494 Inspiration. I don't know who lives there, but they have a swamp in their backyard. And it's all high water table. You put a rain garden. The purpose of a rain garden is to infiltrate the water to the groundwater table. That's going to rise the groundwater table more.
Well, unless something drinks it, because if not,
That's not what they're proposing. They're proposing vegetation to make sure it stays there.
that's what we need to see.
Thank you.
Because the rain gardens I build usually have willow trees coming out of them, so.
All right.
And they have a swell. There's like a thing where it looks like a marble, and you could drop it around the base of where the water goes, and it actually moves the water around.
Lon Gilbert, I just have a quick question, not a question actually, a suggestion before any decision is made. Find out or speak with Dave Paganelli whether or not there's freezing issues of icing on the roadway, because
That's why
I
Dan
know.
and I are going out
Yeah,
tomorrow.
no, but I would ask Dave if there's a history there, because I know there are certain areas of Mohegan where there is. So.
I believe there is already.
I think we can't act tonight because there's more information.
Yeah, no,
Since you're going there tomorrow, is where the lot's located, directly across the street, was a house that was bought last year, was totally redone. I guess the town, because there was so much mold and everything else in the house, they had to gut that house. They had to put in sump pumps. They dug up the whole side yard that butts up to this family's home. They had to put a tank in the ground in the corner of the lot to pick up all the water that they're pumping out of their basement now because
the
of the
river?
high water table, plus all the water that runs off that street every time it rains, because we're on the hill and unfortunately they're below us, and that water just runs.
But where's
and
that water going?
Sits on the road and runs right into those two houses.
I'm saying if they did this side, if they put the container in the.
They put a huge tank in the ground, and I don't know
The
where.
culvert will hold it until, like you were
Yeah.
saying, until it's full.
Full.
And then it's gonna spill over.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, does it go to like the back of the tree line? Does it go into the street?
There's all houses on the opposite road from them that butts
they
up
bought
to
it last
that. I
year?
don't know where it all goes into their backyards. I don't know where
I
it's
think they
going.
bought it last year. You said right?
Yeah, they bought it last year.
Connected it to the street. I hope they wouldn't connect it to a broken swell at the street.
It's in the back corner of their side yard.
Probably going to the back of the house.
Yeah, but
That's probably
it's-
why you're saying of the river, because it's probably everything is getting infiltrated that way.
But yeah, because there is so much water that comes in there, and then the neighbor that opposite that next to them is every time it rains, the water just runs down his driveway, floods his garage. He opens his garage, and he's got water rolling out like a river. So it's, I don't know how a rain garden.
Ed,
it would
Ed,
ha-
Ed,
it-
Ed
it
and
would,
Dan
like
will go
minimize
there.
it, but it's not going to fix the
Right.
issue.
So here's the issue though. If they do nothing, there's
Oh,
nothing.
oh,
fixed.
I understand that,
Right.
but,
So
you
we
know.
need to realize
Yeah.
that, to think that it'll magically disappear.
Yeah,
we
but-
know that's not going to happen. We'll do the legwork though to see.
Right, is the sewer system going to get fixed also along with their rain garden to help? Otherwise, if
And
a
we
rain
have to
garden's
even
not.
see if it is really a stormwater system.
It's a
For all
stormwater
we
system,
know-
not sewer system, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no. For all we know, that just might be some pipes that someone put in. Like my father-in-law, when he built his house, they put drainage in. So, and it's in the middle of the property, so you wouldn't be able to tell, and then it
No,
runs
you
in.
put
So,
food dye in it. You put food dye in it, like in your gutters, it'll show you where it comes out.
but we could definitely, like I said, we'll take
Dan
that.
and Ed
we'll-
are going to go out there tomorrow and take a look.
and
then we'll have better assessment.
All right. Any other public comment tonight? All right. So I don't think until I go out there, I don't think we can get a decision. We do need the tree inventory. I know you just got that tonight because I just got that tonight. So we could look at that and look for a decision in the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think it could be next meeting because I'd like to hear from the planning board. The planning board has to see all the information first and get their recommendations.
Well, the planning board meets on Monday, so if you guys could get that tree inventory in, they could take a look.
Well, we had the tree inventory in with the conservation board. That was sent in already.
So then can you get it to planning? Because they asked for it in today's memo.
I could try.
Yeah, if you already have it,
Absolutely.
just send a copy to John and Robin, And I think
I
there
could-
was one other, Diana, can I see the, thank you, Councilor. Today's, so this is the one that came tonight. Show the 100-foot wetland buffer line on the site plan, should be a pretty easy fix. And provide a tree inventory using the town's tree inventory worksheet, which if you're saying you already gave that to conservation, get that over to planning, because I don't have any comments from conservation.
Okay. They said there is no wetland.
There's an October 27th memo from Conservation. Is there a later
Oh.
one?
Yeah, actually, that's right, John, there's a 100-foot wetland buffer line on the site plan?
But again, we're back to the wetlands
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Conservation
I thought-
asked for 6 items, yeah.
I didn't see conservation.
I don't see it in my file.
Don't look at
Do
them.
I have
Yeah,
conservation?
yeah.
Check it.
Maybe you,
I didn't know
maybe
if
it's
it
in
was a later one.
the foothill.
You never know.
That's 3370.
That's the one, yeah, that's the one I just
Yeah.
showed him.
All right, so John, is there wetlands here or not? Come on up. Oh, wait, here we go. The applicant states that there are no wetlands on the site, but the New York State DEC document state discharge is into a wetland stream. No stream is shown on the plan. An explanation should be provided. There is no line for wetland buffers shown on the plan. 100-foot buffers must be shown for all wetlands on or off the site that would be impacted by construction. Mitigation is required for any impact into the buffer. So this is, that I guess is saying if that stream is
Yes.
there.
Right.
A tree inventory and mitigation plan should be provided, and this was from October 27th, so you're saying that happened already. An erosion and sediment control plan for construction or post-construction should be provided. Dan, do we have that? Okay. There are items on the plan with no legend information. Was that corrected?
Joe Rena did the
Yeah,
engineering.
I'm sorry, John. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to Joe Rena tomorrow. I don't know if I've ever seen a copy of that, what you're looking at.
From
but-
October 27th?
Yeah, I believe everything was forwarded over to Joe, though.
Okay. And the provided document shows different dates as far back as 2021. The board is concerned that the information provided might need updating.
Who is that from?
This is from Diane Dreyer and the Conservation Board.
And it was CC to the applicant, so.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it. Okay.
Just check with Joe on the October 27th from Conservation.
Same one, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know it
actually,
is, Susan.
Joe responded to Diane's
Oh, okay.
memo, but obviously we have a lot of loose ends here that need to be tied up.
What
so.
was Joe's?
On the wetlands issue, he said, there's a wetland stream is beyond a 100-feet buffer, therefore no mitigation is necessary since it will not be impacted by the proposed construction.
Is the 100-foot buffer on there?
No.
Okay. Was there anything else? that
Yeah,
he-
I mean, we'll, like I say, we'll go through, make sure we have all the correspondence from everybody, because we did a full referral on this. So, I mean, I'm still missing a bunch of them, so obviously we need to get them all together to craft a resolution and make sure, pretty much everything's been addressed.
Maybe you could ask either Heather or Will to interface and go through this for you, and then we could maybe talk about it on our walk tomorrow. Thank you, Susan.
You good?
Yeah, so, no, not close, adjourn. Because we have some unanswered questions. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Again, happy Thanksgiving.
See what you guys could get.
Can I get into that meeting? Can I walk that with you tomorrow?
Yeah, just,
Maybe we can get
yeah,
dates down there
text,
too?
text Dan, yeah.
Okay? 'Cause
Thank
I'd
you
like
all,
to clean it
folks.
up. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming because we need to hear from the residents. Otherwise, we don't know these things. So it's important that you show up for hearings.
Thank you.
All right, so we have some discussion items. I'm going to do them out of order. We will start with our veterans because it looks like Carl is getting a little tired back there.
He looks like he's getting cranky.
No, that's Carl's normal face. Mr. Diliberte, are you getting up as well? No? All right. Folks, I'm sorry if we could just, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Major Mike Sheridan. I'm representing the Veterans Advisory Committee that you folks had set up, and we've had various meetings, and we recognize our responsibility to report back to you as to the goings-on.
I'm sorry. Bill, can you close that door? Thank you.
About 2-3 months ago, we had a fairly newly moved up veteran approach us looking for a path to solution. We helped explain him the structure of the property tax and the school tax, and his question was squarely in the school tax portion of it. We realized that that is not set here. It's set by the various school boards. So after we walked him through the calculations, we came collectively to understand that since the school district set the tax paradigm back in 2014, they haven't made any adjustment to it. So the same three criteria that apply for abatements on the property tax do also apply on the school tax, and it's based upon, are you a veteran who has served in time of war, served in a combat zone, and VA disability compensation? The veteran who approached us hits all three of those criteria, gets the appropriate tax treatment on his property taxes, does get the appropriate tax treatment for meeting those conditions on the school tax, and yet you only see a small decrease on the school tax as opposed to the amount of the scope and scale that you would see on the property taxes. So we came up with a resolution within the Veterans Advisory Committee that we would solicit your indulgence and help in getting us in front of the school tax, the school districts, to possibly get them to relook their paradigm, since it hasn't changed since 2014. I could go through the whole whereases piece of it, but the essential part of it is on the basic exemption. The fixed dollar value caps against the assessed value of the property, they've just remained the same since 2015, and the calculation has built into it an either-or criteria for the latest state equalization rate for the assessing unit. And so for the basic exemption, the tax exemption is 15% of the assessed value of the property, not to exceed $12,000, or the product of $12,000 multiplied by the latest state equalization rate for the assessing unit, whichever is less. And each of the other criteria has essentially the same things, whichever is less and whichever is less. And the property tax assessor, from our understanding, uses one schedule for determining what those floors are that you then calculate the whichever is less against. And the school tax districts use a different one. And we would like to get in front of the school tax districts, or the school districts, to talk to them about their taxing paradigm and which schedule it is they're using, because we see greater relief on the property taxes than we see on the school taxes.
Are you talking both Yorktown and Lakeland? Or
Yes.
Have you,
That's the two that we looked at.
have you approached them so far?
We had talked to them in order to get their exact verbiage, and they were very forthcoming. They sent it directly to us. They said, here is the exact text of their resolution from 2014, from which I then extracted their verbiage in drafting our
So in all
resolution.
transparency, as the liaison to the group, they had wanted to come in to try to get our support before going before the school to look for parity in the two equalizations. So it benefits our veterans a little greater, since the school tax is
And
large.
particularly for new families moving in, it's kind of a disincentive. The higher the tax rate, yeah, we want them to come into the town, but if you're a new family with a young veteran who thinks that they qualify for all these great exemptions, but then they don't see the bounce on their school taxes that they see on their property taxes.
What's the difference between the school and the town ballpark? Is it
The
2%? Is it
no, the amount of the
8%?
reduction?
Yeah.
You see probably about twice as much of a reduction of your property tax. The amount of value that you get on your property tax is about twice as much as what you get on your school tax, and yet your school tax is so much bigger than your property tax anyway.
So just to use an example, if I get $100 on my property tax, I'm only getting 50 off on my school tax. Even though the ratios are
Even though the
different,
ratios are
where it should be 100 to like 300.
Yeah. And that's what prompted his original question, and we had to walk him through how it gets calculated rather than him banging on the tax assessor's door.
So are you asking for our buy-in?
Yes. Can you get us in front
Got
of this? Can you get us in front of the school boards and come stand with us and
Well-
say, yeah, what he said?
Well, what I'd like to know if the town board would like us to have our attorney draft a
resolution.
Well, not a resolution, but a letter of support.
Yes.
And
Something along those lines.
Yep.
Perfect.
And I'll come stand with you.
Because
Thank you.
we can't put a resolution before the school board.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in my memory and ask your memories, when as we're talking about zoning issues and land use issues that definitely impact the school districts, but both as we rezone and whether we're going to have children or not, have any representatives from either school district come in and spoken at our hearings and saying support this or oppose this because we don't want more children or something like that? Have they interfered? Have they asked us to do things
Well,
that impact them?
our schools want more children. It keeps them in business, and there's also been a decrease in the attendance in the schools, regardless of all the hype.
In general, I'm just
what
thinking.
I would
I'm
say, if
just
you're looking
asking.
for precedent, Susan, when I first came on the board, I remember it was a huge battle with Lakeland. And Mike, I'm not sure exactly which exemption it was for the veterans, but
They hadn't voted it. The state law had passed, and Yorktown Central, in a fairly matter of course, nothing burger, just, yeah, no, that makes sense. They voted it in, and we got the immediate tax rate. And at Lakeland, yeah, no, we had to pull teeth on that one.
And I remember sitting in an auditorium with hundreds of people wanting to speak in favor of the veterans, including elected officials. So yes, elected officials there's a precedence for it. And if we think that our veterans deserve that exemption as, part of that, part of the compensation for the blank check that they signed, I think that's.
So that there's no confusion, we get the exemption, and we're deeply appreciative of it.
But you'd
No,
like
it's
to-
already in place, and you know what? I'd hardly call it interfering. I think if there's no parity there, I think asking the question and seeing what could be done is.
And if the property is gauged against one schedule, but the school tax is gauged against a different schedule.
And I
talking that's
think
11
from
years
everything that you guys have done for our country, I think standing next to you at a town board meeting is a very, very, very small ask of me, and I'd be happy to do it.
And we're encouraging them to take a look, to take a deeper dive.
So I once again will ask the board if you feel that, and I'll actually
You
ask
got
for a
my vote.
motion. Do I have a motion to a letter of
I'll
support
make that
for
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you for your kind consideration.
No problem. Major, get on with Cindy. She won't be in tomorrow, Monday morning. Let's set something up with both the schools, the superintendents, before we go to the boards.
Very good.
And make sure they're aware of what we're looking at.
Will do. Separate matter entirely, I'll also get with her about scheduling the other item that we'd like to bring back to your attention.
Very good.
At some future date.
Great.
Thank you for your time.
Mike.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mike. Carl, thank you. Bill, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Carl, great job, Carl.
Yeah, Carl, it's the wisest you've ever been.
Good thing you were here.
All right, next we'll
Carl.
we'll go to Homeland Towers, wireless communication facility. I hope it's at least entertaining.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and members of the board. Robert Gaudioso with the law firm of Snyder and Snyder. I know it's been a long night and it's on the eve of the holiday. I'll keep it quick. Very important project. As you know, we've been working on this for about 2 years. Last year, we were lucky enough, I would say, with the town board's impetus to have the state legislature alienate a small piece of the property at 62 Granite Springs Road for the proposed facility. We went to all the other boards, the commissions, the planning board. We had a number of comments. We responded to all of those, revised the plan, submitted the materials. We're only asking for 2 things tonight. One, schedule the public hearing for the proposed lease and the permits that we need. And number 2, as part of the permitting, a small portion of the access drive goes through the DEC wetland buffer, so we have to make application to the DEC. We're just asking for permission for the supervisor on behalf of the town as the owner of the property to sign the form so we could actually make that application.
So you realize, though, that that would not be a admission that you will be getting
100%.
your approvals and
100%.
stuff, the process?
100%. Nothing can get done, no work can be done, no approvals can be granted until this board takes care of SECRA and approves the lease.
There was a concern that was brought up, and we'll speak about this maybe offline or at the public hearing, from one of the residents, and I believe they're here tonight, and so about access to where the tower would be placed, how you get back there.
Mhm.
I think they had more of a concern about how you get there, as opposed to it actually being there. There was a concern
Sure.
for both, but. So I'd like to have a discussion with you, Pat, and I
Yeah.
went out there and we took a look at the property.
It was
and-
the access road. They were looking if they could just left justify it against the stakes.
I think it's a small ask.
Maybe we can go out and see the site and get together and do that.
Pat and I were out there some time ago.
About a year ago.
I think one of the things is that there is, and we did have both the town and the DEC engineers confirm the wetland proper line. So we've stayed out of the wetland. We're only in a portion of the wetland buffer, which I think was an important thing. But if we can shift it and not be in the wetland, we have no objection to that.
No, he would rather left justify it more towards the buffer,
Go
away
more
from
in
the house.
More in the buffer and away from the house.
Let's go out there and
We
take
go-
a look.
we go walk it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
We'll
fine.
take a
Spray
look
paint.
together. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I've already walked it. And
Okay,
I'm
great.
not going to join you.
We'll wear our boots.
All right. So I do know there is a draft resolution that Adam had sent in earlier on the back page. And this is authorization to schedule a public hearing and authorize the supervisor to execute the DEC application form regarding lease for a portion of town property at Homeland Towers LLC and wetland tree and stormwater permit application. So, Diane, if we were to set the public hearing,
December 16th.
December 16th, okay. Motion to set a public hearing for Homeland Towers for December 16th.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and if they want to do it on their dime, execute, missing a T, the DEC application form regarding lease for a portion of town property to Homeland Towers LLC and wetland tree and stormwater permit application. Can I have a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll work with the clerk's office on those notices because I know it's a little bit tight, but thank you so much for your consideration
Thank you,
today.
Robert.
Thank you.
Happy
And we'll be in touch.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
walking.
Yes.
Reach out to me.
All right.
We have a contact.
So
They're gonna call me, or you.
yeah, we have
No, I'm
contact.
talking about.
Yeah, Erickson.
No, I know Erickson.
Oh,
the
this
other
guy,
ones.
yeah, I know exactly who he is.
All right, so now we have, a discussion regarding a CREST grant. Let me just, did I not bring it downstairs?
Did Matt just walk out? Was he going to make a presentation on it?
Huh?
It's an hour off.
Matt just walked out. Matt.
Maybe he's getting Jim.
Jim, yeah.
All right, of course, I cannot find, so I'm going to have to use my phone. I apologize, because I printed it. Let me just see this. Nope. All right. So we were awarded a CREST grant, Community Resilience. What's the rest of CREST? Help me out. No, Jimmy? Diana?
Environment, sustainable.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
so-
Yes, no,
Keep
I think
going.
That's pretty good. I second that.
All right. Well,
Whatever.
so basically, it's a community grant. It's sort of a gift from Senator Harkam to try to help us do projects within the town. Let me find Pete's.
If I remember when you told us we got the grant, you said it was for an outdoor use.
Yep.
Yeah, resiliency.
Community Resiliency Economic Sustainability Grant.
What's the T?
Tomorrow.
All right.
Somebody must have sat there
So-
and spent hours trying to figure out that acronym.
Just give me a second, and I will get to
Our government at work.
Pete's email. All right. So I'm pleased to announce that once again, all of the municipalities I represent will receive $100,000 in CREST funding. This year's preferred theme is public space, parks, playgrounds, sidewalks, pavilions, ADA, etc. So,
So it's 100 grand.
100 grand. I asked Jim to come in. I think Mr. Talbert is here as well, since the first two preferences are on parks and playgrounds. Pavilions are in there, which we have a few of. I wanted to first see if you guys had anything, Jim, on your capital plan coming up that may fit that.
Yeah, so as you know, probably one of our biggest things on the capital plan, which is not realistic to this project, is replacing, putting in the parking lot at Granite Knolls. And we know that project's going to be anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000, which is kind of out of the question for this CREST grant. But when looking and hearing what Pete Harkam wants to do with this money and talking about playgrounds, we have a lot of playgrounds in your town. And one specifically stands out as a project that we've been really having our eye on, and that's the Sparkle Lake Playground. That playground is a...
Step to the mic.
Is it? It really... It has the potential to be a real anchor playground. It already kind of is. However, it's one of our oldest playgrounds, so it really needs a facelift. And it's one of our only playgrounds with massive amount of parking. And you'll see there mostly maybe single parents that are able to go there because they're able to put the baby in the baby swing and also have their child on the playground. And it's also fenced in. And they have the parking that leads right up to the front of that playground as well. So it's just an amazing location for your children and a place to bring your children to play. But unfortunately, that playground is seen better days, and it's in dire need of a facelift. And Matt can tell you as well, $100,000 is a nice start, but there would need to be some additional matching funds from the town to really make it where it needs to be. Not a ton, not another 100, but
not matching.
not fully matching. Yeah, exactly.
How
But
much more?
I would say just 50 to 80,000. I mean, we would have to get some quotes and look at a lot of different proposals from our different.
How big's that playground? I'm just trying to picture it in my head.
$50,000 that you were at Blackberry Woods. $50,000.
You need to.
$50,000 doesn't get you very far, and at Blackberry Wood, it doesn't get you. It gets you further,
But not across the finish line.
Well, not with the type of surface we want for accessibility.
Yeah, there's the swings, which has the
Yeah,
diverse.
it's a larger square footage, a larger footprint, and we're looking to do a little bit more than what we have at Blackberry Woods. Like we said, this is kind of an anchor type playground. This is a place where more people have access to, and we want to celebrate that community at Sparkle Lake.
To get more wear and tear.
Yeah, correct.
Well,
because it can.
Okay, so
And it needs it.
let's park you for a minute.
Yep.
Anyone on the board have any ideas? right now.
I mean, I'd like to see sidewalks. Some of the sidewalks are crumbling.
Well, we do have money put aside right now that we're.
No, I get
right.
it. I mean, we still got to, there's a couple of things we got
Well,
to do.
John Tegeter seems to have disappeared, but.
Well, that's the
He
question
bolted?
about where we
Because
go.
I'd like to know where we are on our survey.
Streetscape, which we
But I-
haven't done the RFP yet.
But I will tell you that that is an idea, but it sounds like we'd be better served with this playground.
I also would love the idea of that playground to have a light. I feel like DeVito and stuff, we have beautiful playgrounds that if once it gets dark, if a kid wants to go play, they don't have lights.
Actually, most of our parks close at dusk. That's why.
Are you?
I go at night.
Would the replacement be for the exact same footprint,
to
or
walk
would you be expanding it in any way?
Sounds like expanding.
We're looking to expand it.
Expand it.
Yeah.
Would that interfere with any future use that you might be contemplating for the rest of that
Oh,
property?
we'll keep that in mind.
What?
We have kept that in mind because we still have a 100-foot buffer that a playground can go in, but a building can't.
Okay. I think this is to me, this sounds like a good project that we need. And the fact that it does need some additional sums fits into what I've been asking for a long time, is we need to sit down and have a capital plan for what we're going to
He has a
spend.
capital plan.
No, we have a wish list.
Great idea. You got one?
We have a wish list. I want to see if this board decides to spend 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, whatever it chooses to spend over the next year or two in capital projects, and this is how we're going to lay out the money. One of the new issues that came up tonight is the the flex system, which would be, even if we did the 3-year plan, it is a significant outlay of money for 1 year, and that would have to come from the fund balance. It certainly is not going to come from the police budget. So if we can put together a plan and to say over the next year we're going to spend X dollars, and I'm not saying what we should spend. I'm just saying that once we decide how much we're going to take from the fund balance, and then we say these are the 5 projects or the 2 projects or only 1 project, so we know what we're doing and it's thought out, and this would help the Parks Department in its plan, because what's in the back of the budget book is a lovely wish list, and that's all it is. It's a wish list. It doesn't assign priorities. It really doesn't give us any sense of what we're going to spend in the coming year. Otherwise, we just kind of ad hoc take money from the fund balance as projects suddenly come up or needs come up, and we have the money. Okay, we'll take it. But there's no long-term planning, which is what we need. I would urge this board to sit down, get the feedback from the different departments, put it all together in a pot, and then everyone comes out with their priorities once the controller gives us a comfortable number of what she feels looking ahead, what we can take out from the fund balance.
So, Susan, just so you know the process, and I thought they did it the same when you were the supervisor, we did sit down, we had a meeting, we prioritized what we needed. Unfortunately, the numbers that we got back this year to keep things flat, or the attempt at that point, was that, hey, let's see where we're going to be, because there are a couple things that are up in the air, especially with insurance. So we purposely put on the back burner any project that we haven't set aside the money for. We're not really going to move forward with unless we get a grant or get something compatible to help along, because we're at a time where it's great, and you know, Jimmy, I thank you for the compliments you've had in the past about how this board has worked with you, but there's a time that mom and dad sometimes has to say no, and we realize that things are tight this year, and this was one of those years where we had to say, you know what, we might not be having a snack at night before bed. We might skip lunch a couple of times during the year, because we wanna conserve. Families are having to do it right now. That's why I didn't think it appropriate to have a tax increase, and we really need to be very cognizant of that. So the plan is there. It is prioritized. The budget this year has been pulled back till we get some stronger numbers in, find out what insurance is going to cost us, find out where our fund balance is going to lie. Last year, we only added $300,000 to our fund balance.
I'm not.
Not a lot.
I'm not talking about the operating budget, and yes, that's very tight, and we're going to talk about that next week. I'm talking about the fund balance, and I know the fund balance is a floating number. It could be one thing on a Monday and something else on a Friday. We need, in the budget book, it says 24 million. I know the comptroller has said we really don't have 24 million to spend because of, and then she lays out where it's kind of earmarked for. So we need a number from her. Once she subtracts out everything that we have to put aside on that fund balance, this is our savings account. I think we all deal in our own personal finances. We hopefully have some kind of savings account, and we know when we can take out a certain amount of money. Still leave that cushion for the rainy day, for some unexpected emergency. But yeah, we can buy the new car, or we can go on vacation. Something extra to spend. So we need that one. The first thing is a good working number from the comptroller, and then maybe it's only $1 million. Maybe it's only $1 million. Maybe it's $500,000. I don't know. The comptroller has to give us that number that she is comfortable with, and we all rely on her. And then from that number, then we have to choose our priorities. One of the things we're going to have to decide is $241,000 for the police issue. Safety is a critical issue. We want the best for our police department. So that's one issue that might be priority number one. That's going to come from the fund balance. So is
Susan,
number two
the answer-
$50,000 for this extra Sparkle Lake playground, or does some other department head have some other critical?
Well, that's an easy one to address, which Jim, what you'll do is you do the plans, do a replacement, do an addition, give me incremented costs so we can decide where we're at when we get our final numbers in with the audit.
Absolutely, and I think what's important about this capital improvement budget is more than just a wish list. This gives us the ability to execute when something like this happens. We have these projects already prioritized, so now when you come to me with $100,000, we know exactly where it's going to go to better help this community. So, that's the due diligence of what we do in this town, and it's coming forth right now in being able to identify a project right away that's going to serve the people of this town.
Absolutely.
And Ed, you mentioned the audit. We have the audit. We have the most up-to-date audit. Granted,
which
the
is from
numbers.
December 31st.
That's right,
So,
and that's why the
Susan-
controller,
Crest grant.
the controller who knows this.
Let's get back onto the
Susan,
Crest grant.
But the controller said when we were doing our budget meetings that she thinks we're at where we are going to end up. Now, of course, it could change because we don't know what's going to happen with the insurance. We do know we already got a hit in the retirement. I think it was 8 or 9%. But she's already said that she thinks that we are at that comfort level, per se, where we can't go below. She's publicly stated that. So we really need to see where we end up the year.
And she's very conservative.
And she is very conservative, which is important because you don't want to find out down the line that she thinks we were at the threshold, but oh no, we actually went beyond the threshold. So I understand what you're saying, but I think our controller, as I deal with her every day, is very, very focused on that number and to make sure that the town has the proper fund balancing. And I do believe that we have an excellent team of experts all around in this town, and our department heads have some great knowledge, have been doing it for years, and really pull things together where they need to be. So I know we've been able to help. We've been able to see some projects. We've been able to move some things into capital. I think the ADA for I'm sorry? No, for Downing. Is on the money put aside for that already. The streetscaping is put aside, and we have those projects that are important projects, and we'll keep focused on quality of life issues. You spoke about the police one. The one thing that a lot of people may have missed is they said that it will decrease the response time on the calls, which to me is the 1A is keeping our cops safe, 1B is keeping our residents safe, and and decrease call time, decrease response time is amazing, and that's what law enforcement, fire safety, paramedics, that's what they try to do every day. So to me, the benefits, even if you save one life, and I had one of my neighbors just call me. He right before election day, he had a heart attack, and YVAC and Empress saved his life.
And that's why we added the second flight car,
Yeah,
because it was
exactly.
important.
All right,
The
can
the
we-
issue.
We're talking about the Crest
Yeah,
grant,
let's go.
and We were
Okay.
talking about a
So-
project, all right? So can we just focus on this, because that's what's on the topic?
Well, the
here,
focus
and
is-
That's what the discussion item is.
My 2 cents on the.
You're recommending, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just my 2 cents on the Crest grant. I think Matt and Jimmy have their finger on the pulse. I defer to your expertise and
Well,
bringing
that's-
issues up to us,
Yeah.
and then we make decisions.
And also realize that when you're there and you open it up, look and let's be mindful of what's sustainable also for the years to come. Like when we were talking about Downing, that leads to the clean water pipes for the water fountains. Like everything has, like it's not, Susan, it's not, what I mean is like, it is the project he's naming, but even within that project, there will be complexities. You will notice things, and that will be part of the project as it flows itself.
I think Sparkle Lake in general is a area of the town and a park in town that we're looking to continue to improve. And this would be a great start of improving that space.
Is everyone good with Sparkle Lake?
I'm good
Yes.
I'm good with it,
I'm
yeah.
good with it,
W-
yes.
While we're, just because this is all related to fund balance, let me just throw in a related but unrelated question. In taking off roughly, I think it's 2 million, either $1 or $2 million, I'm not sure, of whatever is in the fund balance has been set aside for the streetscape. In September, there was a discussion about doing an RFP to design it, but there's been no RFP. So
the
what's
survey,
holding that up?
the survey, as you remember, we approved a survey. They're waiting for the surveyor, which unfortunately, I remember when I had a property surveyed, it was a 3-month wait. But John said that they are working on it. That's why I was hoping to find him again. But there is a process. We're not just going to say design something without having it being surveyed and then redesign it after the survey.
All right.
All right. So, Jim, you have your marching orders.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, please break it down incrementally. So if we only have 100, this is what we could do.
Yep.
If we put an extra 10, an extra 20, whatever it is, have it broken.
Yeah, we already started getting some designs in that location, just anticipation of looking to do a project in that location, but we'll push the gas a little bit now that there is funding behind it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Happy
Thank you, Matt.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Happy
happy Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
guys. All right, resolutions. From the Assessor's Office, authorize a tax certiorari for the parcel known as Section 3718, Block 2, Lot 56, located at Downing Drive. This is Oster Properties, and the reductions are there to their assessment, as noted.
It's the Uncle G's, right?
Yes.
The Uncle
It's the whole
G's.
property, I think.
Yep. From the Engineering Department, authorize a bid to advertise of various chemicals for the water pollution control plant. Oh, if Dan's not here, we can't vote on that. Okay, he's watching. Authorize bid to be advertised for the sludge and grease removal for the water pollution control plant. From the Human Resources Department, authorize following employees to carry over vacation time to be used in 26. And this is their available balance as of 2025 payroll 23. And authorize the following managerial employee vacation buyout as enumerated below. From the Police Department, authorize the supervisor to sign a reimbursement agreement with the New York State Stop DWI Foundation for special Stop DWI details. Now, was there a flaw in the original on that?
No, that's the one you held over from last week because
The-
you wanted us to check on. But they have
Okay,
different,
that's the one that was mixed in.
different,
Coding.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Authorize the supervisor to sign a maintenance agreement with Business Electronics, Inc. for servicing the Yorktown Police Department's voice recorder equipment. From the Town Comptroller's Office, authorize the Comptroller to pay Lorraine Morano the cash value of unused time as of her date of termination. as enumerated below. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And before the motion to adjourn, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending your pre-holiday Tuesday with us, and have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you
Happy
have-
Thanksgiving to everyone.
This
Many blessings, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.